A joyful hello to all of you. My name is Minnku Buttar, founder of the Circle of Joy that brings you self-mastery programs and retreats. It gives me great joy to bring to you this season's talk show, a series of interviews on choosing joy, secrets, and stories from all over the world. It is my diligent attempt to show you that joy is not a hockey-pocky, frivolous concept, but a discipline, a way of life much needed if you want to be resilient, radiant, and unstoppable like a runaway train. So subscribe to my channel so that you can tap into the wisdom of people from all over the world. I will see you there. Hello and namaste. My name is Minnku Buttar, your host from India. Welcome back to the second episode of our talk show, Choosing Joy, Secrets and Stories from Around the World. It's fueled by an intention to bring joy in hearts and smile on lips. Now, I'm going to take you all on a very magical journey today. Now, we all love fairy tales, especially the ones that have fairy godmothers sprinkling fairy dust with their magical wands, like Billy Potter does in the new musical. For those of you who have seen it, he's the fabulous godmother sprinkling magical golden glitter onto a very joyful and a career-focused Cinderella of modern times. I love that twist. Well, today I have with me a real life fairy whose hashtag is actually hashtag Tony's fairy dust. It's true. It's true. She's been sprinkling magical pixie dust for about 30 plus years as a business mentor for social justice and impact and empowering C-suite to lead through change and crisis. She is a co-associate of TEDx Stroud and global ambassador of EMEA, a vertical of Humans First Club, where actually I've had the honor to lead a full session on trust and anxiety. So my guest today not only claims, but is a critical friend, as I found out recently during a crisis I was handling. Please join me to welcome our guest today, Toni MCLELLAND, all the way from the United Kingdom. Toni, thank you for accepting my invite, and I am extremely delighted to have you here.
Can I just say, Minnku, I absolutely love what you're doing, all of the work that you're doing, empowering others and bringing joy. And it is an absolute delight to join you here today. So thank you for asking me.
You are so welcome. Really, I think we've got this amazing magical connect going, and I just thought you were needed today to create magic and be an ambassador of joy. So, Toni, let's invite our listeners into our magical land. Let's allow that magic to happen. And from the time I've known you, your hashtag pixie dust has fascinated me, and you know that. And I also remember reading a very empowering post from you on LinkedIn. It said, "What if I fall? But what if you can fly?" How amazing a statement. So, Toni, what's been your inspiration with this wonderful, exciting, magical hashtag Tony's fairy dust?
Well, that thing about Tony's fairy dust, and the thing about it is, Minnku, is so many people message me and send me emails about wanting fairy dust. And I say to them, how much do you need? Sometimes they need sprinkling, and sometimes they need, a wheelbarrow full was one of my last requests. But, I say that it all depends on what you need and where you are, because this thing travels. I've had people from Australia wanting some fairy dust. So, it really does depend. But one of the things I would say is that if you look up in the Tony's fairy dust dictionary, it will have the definition of giving joy, happiness and strength in an instant.
Oh, that is so magical, with lots of gleeful laughter and this absolutely golden glitter that you throw on everyone. Toni, thank you so much for being that fairy. I think the world needs you much more than ever before.
And you know where it came from as well? I remember I had one client I was speaking to, and she was in such distress. And I was thinking to myself, how can I change this in the moment? And I needed, before I left her, you know, I needed to make sure that I gave her something. And so I said to her, I'm giving you some fairy dust, some of my fairy dust, and it brought a smile. And I'm sending some to you, Minnku, and all your listeners today. So do catch it.
Thank you.
In relation to that post that you mentioned about what if I fall, you know?
Yeah, the fear.
What if you could fly? My thing about that is, what if you just try?
Absolutely.
I'll be there to catch you. And one of the things that I try to do with everybody I speak to is, when I learned my driving lesson, when I was learning to drive, my first lesson was absolutely disastrous, Minnku. I looked at the driving instructor and I said, how did I get on? And he made some funny faces and some grunting noises. I thought, okay, it wasn't great. But I had this fancy, you know, company car waiting for me. And so for me, that was my driver. And so when I said to him one day, how did I get on today? He said to me, can you believe that I didn't use any of my pedals? You've done it all on your own. And I remember the glee that I felt in that moment. And so I try to replicate that when I'm speaking to people, that initially I'm helping you. I'm doing the driving, you're in the passenger seat, then you take over the driving and we drive together. And then eventually I'm sitting beside you and I'm not on the pedals.
That's amazing.
And then eventually I don't need to be in the passenger seat. So it's that feeling that I'm trying to recreate. So that's what the post was all about. Thank you, Minnku.
Thank you, Toni, for making that magic happen in, you know, in just being there. It's like the little bird, isn't it, that completely looks after its little chicks and then nudges it from the mountaintop and absolutely sure that this little birdie of hers is going to fly. And, you know, talking about this pixie dust, it very much sounds like your joyful inspiration. It's mine. And have we forgotten Peter Pan? I remember how obsessed I was with that title song when I first heard it. And I'm not sure, but I think it went like, all it takes is faith and trust. Oh, something I forgot. Dust and a little bit of pixie dust. I think you can fly with wings of happy thoughts. I think I'm getting fixated with your pixie dust, Toni. Now, Toni, beyond that fun and frolic, perhaps if you really think about it, maybe all it does take to fuel our lives to soar high and to, you know, rise like a phoenix each time we fall is just investing on happy, joyful thoughts, in staying in that nice space. So, Toni, if I could ask you, what special elements or values would allow for this magical flight? I know you talked about, you know, having people's backs, but what would allow the opening of our hearts and minds today?
Well, do you know the thing about it is, Minnku, you said it just there. In order to change, in order to want, in order to be, you have to believe. You have to open your heart and mind. That is the starting point, you know, and we have to connect back to base.
Right.
To be able to do that, connect back to our authentic self. Who am I? What do I want to be? And the thing about it is that, you know, I know that you had Dennis Pitocco in your first episode. And one of the things he asked me recently was, you know, what one thing would you like to have on your bucket list? And I said, do you know what? I don't have one thing. I just want to live. That's the only thing I want to do. I just want to live. Yeah. So for me, it's about coming back to that whole thing about humanity and being human and being real and all of those natural qualities that, you know, we quite often overlook. Right. I've worked in criminal justice for a number of years. And when I worked with young offenders, you will be surprised how things like listening, respect, understanding, patience, compassion get you very, very far, you know, and just
Just
We're
the
always in a
pauses.
rush. We're always in a rush.
The pauses. We forget the pauses, the mindful pauses. Absolutely. Yes, not able to even absorb the present moment and moving on to the next, Tony, right? And or just that fixation with the past. Um, yeah, I am so with you, Tony. I think if I may add to that, if we allow ourselves to retrieve our childlike, fertile imaginations and shut this conscious mind for some time, I think maybe our hearts and minds would open up. So also going from that, I'm going to throw in Mary Poppins. I mean, we've done Peter Pan and let's move on. We're creating magic. We're taking people down their childhood trains today. Now, she said beautifully, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And how powerful is that? So I'm just wondering, with our trials and tribulations in life, Tony, should we sugarcoat? Should we ignore? Should we sweep issues under the carpet? Or is it time to go headlong and tackle things with courage and fearlessness? What do you think?
Absolutely, tackle it. And I just want to say that the song A Spoonful of Sugar helps the medicine go down. And the next line is, in the most delightful way. Because actually, we don't want any additional pain or suffering or discomfort while people are going through this. We know that we have to move through it. So let's make it as painless as possible or as easy to go down as possible. And the thing about it is, we know that we have to do it. So let's just make it as pain-free. It's almost like a Minnku, knowing that carrots are very good for you. You might not like them, but you might put them in a stew or you disguise them in things. You're still having them. And it's a little bit like that when we are faced with those trials and tribulations. And one thing that I will share with you is that many years ago, there was a time where I had to go into a battle. In fact, I didn't have to. I chose to. There was a battle in front of me, and it was people versus money. And I chose the people. And I went with what the people needed and wanted and what felt right for me. I could have opted out, I could have moved away, but I chose to step forward. And knowing I didn't know what that journey was going to be like. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what I was going to be going through, or even how I would come out the other side. So what I had to do, Minnku, was, because I knew I was gonna move forward, I had to prepare myself. I made sure I had the best team. I prepared like I was going into battle. I had the best team. My soldiers were ready. Are you ready, soldiers? Yes, we are ready. I got my armor.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes.
I got my best shoes to put my best foot forward. I put on my best lipstick.
That's amazing.
And I said, come on, let's go.
Let's just do this.
Let's go. We don't know. And do you know the thing about it is, Minnku, is that learning in that piece of the journey was one of the best piece of learning that I've had in my life. Because if I didn't go through that, I couldn't share that experience and that learning with others. Would I do it again? No way. But I learned an awful lot, and I want to continue sharing that.
That is beautiful. Tony, again, I resonate with that. It is just that fear versus curiosity. And in your case, of course, it was just something that you chose to do. So I think it comes back to also the choices we make in life. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I lead this 4-week journey for corporates called the Joyfulness Code. And that's exactly what it is. This is a world of possibilities out there. Do you have the courage to go explore? And I think it comes down to the choices we make. Now, moving into reality checks. Before we go into the exciting, rapid, I can't believe how fast time has gone, but before we go, and I get you into a corner there, those quirky, nice, rapid fire questions that I always invite my speakers. There's another thing that I want to touch upon. There was a very powerful article on LinkedIn. I remember you said, count the smiles and the KPIs are achieved. And by KPIs, I think you meant the key performance indicators of an organization, right? So if I got that right, Tony, now what is it that leaders need today? Because there is a new emerging landscape, right? And there are new kinds of challenges, crises. So how can you handle, and what do the leaders need to navigate and still achieve what I believe in is the high happiness index, the HI? How do you propose leaders do that?
Okay, well, there's two things I'm going to touch on very quickly here, because I know that you want to get to your rapid fire.
Absolutely.
So the first thing is compassion. We need compassion, and we are so conditioned to leave the compassionate part at home and coming with a different self. Now, you know, over the years, we are moving towards being authentic and bringing your whole self to that space. So I think about the word compassion. There's lots of myths around that. People think it's soft and it's fluffy, but actually it brings out what is actually needed. We quite often leave it to doctors and nurses and people with those qualifications to lead, to do the compassion and do the caring. And one of the other statements that I've put out recently, of the other quotes, is that in order to lead with compassion and care, the only qualification that is required is that you qualify as being human. Because you don't need a formal qualification to do that. Everybody can tap into it, and it's an innate thing. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is about where you touched on the KPIs. I was managing a team of 560 staff, and I had my senior leaders, and we were in a meeting, and one of them was really worried about some KPIs that we were talking about, and we were talking about performance in this meeting. And I said, you know what? Don't worry about the KPIs. I just want you to go out and count those smiles today. Go and create those smiles and count them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's exactly what she done. And it made the world to her team. I wanted to take the anxiety away from her and just make people smile, make people happy. If you've got happy workforce, if you let them go early 1 hour, they will come back and want to give you 4, you know. So it's like
the smiles.
Absolutely. Make them happy, and in turn, the clients will be happy, and in turn, the KPIs will take care of themselves, you know, because what can I say? What can I say, Minnku? So
no, Tony, beautifully put together. And I think these we could take inspiration, at least I did, for you know, the joy that we try to create, you, me, everyone else. Look at Finland. I think it's the #1 country who has this beautiful balance of being the most happy country in the world right now, with the happiest and the highest happiness index. And the only magic, Tony, I don't know how much you resonate with this, is to believe in ourselves. And like you said, you know, if I could recap, take those mindful pauses and be in deep gratitude, and our work is done. Be human, sit back and enjoy the miracles to unfold, right?
Absolutely. And you know, 80% of my work, I believe in the 80-20 principle.
Right.
20% in, 80% out. But you know what? When it comes to the staff, I put 80% into my staff. Make sure their appraisals, you know, they have what they need, etc. And everything comes into play there. So I really invest my time in my people. And that's the main thing that I would say. Focus on living your life, being happy, concentrate on the people, and
your work is done. Thank you so much, Tony, for, you know, encapsulating that beautifully, and made that be your pixie dust to all our listeners. And let's you know, get on with the candid, the unadulterated responses to the rapid fire. And I invite your responses, Tony, in 1 word or maximum 1 sentence. So are you ready? Because this is exciting.
I was born ready, Minnku.
I love that, Tony. I love that. You know, you're such an inspiration for me, your confidence levels. Now, 1 hidden gem in London that people don't know of.
Me.
Do you know how many people are going to ask for your address? So be very ready to have a queue outside your door. Tony, you asked for that one, Tony. Tony's pixie dust sprinkles what?
It sprinkles happiness and magic and gives strength in the moment.
Wonderful. A mantra that works always in panic.
Take a breath. Don't make any rash decisions. It will be okay.
It will be okay, wouldn't it?
Okay. I'm your safe pair of hands.
Yes, but I like your response. I love it. I think it's the need of the day. The next one, Tony, if one is fearful of falling and failing, one should, question mark.
Call me.
Okay, I love that. Open invitation again. I hope everyone in the universe is listening. To you, Tony, to you, being a critical friend means, question mark.
Telling it as it is, as tactfully as you can.
Absolutely.
And respectfully.
Okay, and I'm just been reading up on you. So your most recent Jaguar moment, as you call them, that I knew you were not expecting that. So the most recent Jaguar moment that made your knees go jelly. Come on now, it's time to spill the secrets. Be candid. What was it?
It was actually a Jaguar moment.
Fantastic.
It was a Jaguar. It was a car that I wanted, and we weren't actually looking. We passed a showroom and said we'll go in, and
and you got it.
My husband knows all the signs, that yes, he knows all the signs.
You were your knees were as wobbly as jelly. I can so imagine you walking in and out of that show.
The car started talking to me, bring me home, bring me home.
I hear those noises all the time, Tony, and here I'm trying to declutter. So we'll go into that conversation another time, one-on-one. The last word to our listeners to help them stay joyful. One strong word.
Live.
Absolutely true to the essence of being humane. Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for coming into this talk show with all your wit, our laughter, our glee. It's been joyful to have you as an ambassador of joy. And we always finish with a quote. And today the quote is, everyone brings joy to their offices, some when they enter and some when they leave. So I am going to leave you all with enough time to decide which category everyone falls. In the meantime, thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much. And I'm sending fairy dust to you. I think you're fabulous, and I think the work you're doing is marvelous. And I'm sending fairy dust to all of your listeners. May you be well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Stay blessed and joyful, everyone. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And I will catch you all again on the 1st of October. Till then, stay blessed and stay joyful. Bye now.